Before the rings, before the MVPs, before the GOAT talk, there was this.
Come up with another steal. Unreal. 15 unanswered points. Here's Jordan. Yes.
Brings it up. 50 seconds remaining. Jordan with a seam. What a jam!
A 21-year-old Jordan, torching everyone in sight, holding grudges like weapons, and turning a rookie year into an opening act of destruction. This isn't just a rookie season, it's the beginning of a nightmare for everyone not named Michael Jordan. So let's rewind and see how this monster was built. What made MJ the GOAT? The hunger, the drive to be great, the burning passion for the game of basketball was there from the very start, long before anyone else saw it. Back in high school, by now, you've probably heard some version of the story. The great MJ was cut from his high school's team. Jordan himself said one of the early disappointments of his life fueled him to greatness.
But in high school, the first time you went out for the team, you did not make the basketball team.
I was cut.
Cut why?
His coach at Laney High explained later that MJ wasn't actually cut from his varsity team. He was simply a sophomore and assigned to junior varsity. However, Coach Pop Herring had to make a tough call. The varsity roster had a serious size problem. Not a single returning player stood taller than 6'3". So, even though a guy named Leroy Smith was only a sophomore like Jordan, his 6'7" frame made him too valuable to be left off the senior team. Instead of sending him to junior varsity with the rest of the underclassmen, Pop bumped Smith up to varsity, leaving Jordan on JV. Jordan was a skinny 5'11" kid at the time, but he still wasn't having it. This might have been the very first time he, as the saying goes, took it personally. According to MJ, he went home, shut his bedroom door, and cried after seeing the varsity list without his name. But then he went to work for the junior squad. He lit up the JV scene with multiple 40-point games, turning ladies' JV contests into must-see events. The next year, after growing to 6'3" over summer, Jordan had no problem making varsity. As a junior, he averaged over 20 points per game and immediately became the team's go-to guy. The summer before his senior year, he attended the legendary 5-star basketball camp when he first crossed paths with UNC head coach Dean Smith. Smith started recruiting him to Chapel Hill. As a senior, MJ led Laney to a 19-4 record, earned a spot in the McDonald's High School All-American game, and in 1981 accepted a full scholarship to the University of North Carolina. He became just the 4th freshman ever to start under Dean Smith. For most of that season, the spotlight was on UNC's talented forwards, James Worthy and Sam Perkins. But in the 1982 NCAA championship game against Georgetown and their freshman phenom, Patrick Ewing, Jordan stole the moment. He scored 16 points, grabbed 9 boards, and with 18 seconds left, knocked down a 16-foot jumper to win 63-62. The first loud bang of many. By his sophomore year, he was named College Player of the Year by the Sporting News. As a junior, he repeated as the Player of the Year and also claimed the Naismith and Wooden Awards. After that, it was time. Jordan decided to forego his senior year in North Carolina and take his talents to the NBA. And the 1984 draft, loaded. The lead-up was filled with speculation, strategy, and pure chaos. Scouts were buzzing about Hakeem Olajuwon, Sam Bowie, Charles Barkley, and a guard out of North Carolina who was starting to make some real noise. Chicago held the number 3 pick and had multiple offers, with Dallas and Philadelphia pushing hard to move up and snag Jordan. But Bulls GM, Rod Thorne, never considered trading down. He wanted Mike too. Olajuwon was a lock for number 1, and the Rockets weren't passing on him. At number 2, the Blazers drafted Bowie, a 7'1" center out of Kentucky. Why? Because in 1984, conventional wisdom said you had to draft a big man. Plus, they'd already taken Clyde Drexler the year before and felt set in the backcourt. Another slight, another log on the fire. So when the Bulls went on the clock, they sent in the name.
The Chicago Bulls pick Michael Jordan of the University of North Carolina.
What's crazy is how low-key the process was. No interviews, no pre-draft workouts. We never had a conversation until we drafted him, Rod Thorne admitted. Instead, the Bulls leaned on old-school scouting. Thorne was tight with Dean Smith, who vouched for Jordan, and Chicago's staff made at least half a dozen trips to Chapel Hill during his junior season. The real insight came not from games, but from practices, where Smith led them to see Jordan unleashed. Dean's system was very unselfish, and you almost got to see more of Michael in practice than in games, one Bulls scout recalled. In drills, you saw his competitiveness. You saw him wanting to win every sprint, every rep. You saw him do things with the ball you might not see in their system during a game. That was big for us. Still, not everyone in the Bulls organization was convinced. One managing partner pushed hard for a big man instead. There was even talk of trading down to take Mel Turpin. Yeah, Mel Turpin, who went 6th overall and out of the league 4 years later. Thorne and his scouts weren't taking any chances. They half-jokingly suggested locking down the draft war room and keeping their representatives at the draft site in the dark, just to make sure nothing came between them and Jordan. The plan worked. Chicago got their man, and MJ would start proving Thorne right almost immediately at the 1984 Olympics. Unlike today, when NBA superstars are handpicked to form a dream team, the 1980s had a very different setup. Back then, young players who hadn't yet turned pro had to fight for a spot through a grueling tryout process. The best amateurs in the country were invited, and from there, only the strongest survived. The man running the show? Bobby Knight, Indiana's legendary coach and an old-school drill sergeant who designed a brutal selection process. 77 players showed up, and among them were names that would later define an era. John Stockton, Karl Malone, Mark Price, Joe Dumas, Roy Tarpley, Charles Barkley, Danny Manning, and yet, even in that crowd, one player couldn't be ignored. Steve Alford, Jordan's Olympic teammate and longtime NCAA coach, remembered the buzz Jordan created. I can remember even at the trials, there was a buzz anytime Mike was playing because we had like 4 courts going on at once and there were no fans there. There were just 77 guys in the building, and every one of those 77 knew when MJ was playing on a court near you or by you. And you'd start glancing toward that court instead of paying attention to what you were doing there. NBA Hall of Famer Charles Barkley, who didn't make the cut in '84, was equally stunned. I've never seen anything like it. Michael is a little taller than me, he's mentally tough, and he could outrun everybody and outjump everybody. I've never seen anything like it, and this is before he became Michael Jordan. This is in college. I said, "Coach, he's going to be amazing. I'm not the best. There's this crazy, beep dude from North Carolina." That crazy dude went on to lead Team USA at the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics. Jordan topped the team in scoring with 17.1 points per game, while also locking down the best perimeter players on the other side. The US went undefeated, 8-0, putting up 95.4 points a night while holding opponents to just 63.3. Their closest game? An 11-point win over West Germany in the quarterfinals. On one of the biggest stages in the world, with a team thrown together in just weeks, a 21-year-old fresh out of college looked like the future of basketball, and the world beyond the basketball courts took notice. Sonny Vaccaro, then a little-known Nike consultant, had been fixated on Jordan ever since the 1982 NCAA championship. He lobbied Nike's executives hard to bet everything on MJ, not to spread their budget across multiple players, but to go all in. It was a radical idea. Nike wasn't the powerhouse it is today, and executives weren't eager to gamble on a relatively unknown rookie when players like Barkley or Stockton seemed safer picks. But Nike was desperate. They were losing money in the early 80s and needed a game changer. The deal they put on the table was unheard of. $2.5 million over 5 years, plus bonuses and a 25% cut of every pair of sneakers sold. For perspective, the top NBA shoe deals at the time barely cracked $100,000 to $150,000 a year. Nike also gave Jordan something players had never had before: his own shoe line and direct input into his signature shoe. Instead of just wearing whatever was handed to him, Jordan helped shape the Air Jordan line, which Nike loaded with cutting-edge tech to withstand the force of someone who jumped higher and landed harder than anyone else. The first Air Jordans dropped in 1984, and the NBA immediately banned them. The black and red design violated the league's uniform rules, earning Jordan a $5,000 fine every time he wore them. Nike happily paid the fines, spinning the banned status into a marketing goldmine. The commercial said,
On September 15th, Nike created a revolutionary new basketball shoe. On October 18th, the NBA threw them out of the game. Fortunately, the NBA can't stop you from wearing them. Air Jordans from Nike.
This was advertising genius. The results were insane. Released at $65 in April 1985, Air Jordans racked up $70 million in sales by May. By the end of the year, they'd cleared over $100 million. And while Jordan was becoming a cultural phenomenon off the court, his teammates in Chicago quickly learned what kind of player they had just drafted. When preseason training started, word spread fast. You've got to come and see this guy. Longtime Bulls equipment manager Mark Phil remembered telling people. Jordan's debut practice was so intense that coach Kevin Loffery had to stop it early. One Bulls executive recalled, "We had a morning practice, and typically those practices would be at least 3 hours. And at lunchtime, Kevin came walking into the office on Michigan Ave. We asked, 'What are you doing here? Practice should be still going on.' He said, 'Well, I had to cut the practice short. That Jordan kid was just dominating so much, he was embarrassing the rest of the team. Every single time down the floor on defense, he steals the ball. And every single time down the floor on offense, he dunks the ball.' On his first day, Jordan was playing like it was the finals. It wasn't just talent, it was a message to his veteran teammates. There's a new sheriff in town. Even in preseason, it was obvious. The Rockets and Blazers would regret passing on him. NBA legend Bernard King, who went on to lead the league in scoring that year, summed it up best after watching Jordan in an exhibition. "All I can say is that the people in Chicago are in for a real treat." He was spot on. From day one, Jordan's greatness was undeniable. Attendance skyrocketed both at home and on the road. Fans of opposing teams didn't mind losing, as long as Jordan gave them a show. He quickly became a fan favorite. In November, the New York Times described Jordan as the phenomenal rookie of the Bulls. And in December, MJ appeared on the cover of Sports Illustrated with the heading, "A Star is Born." Despite all the hype, Jordan carried himself with humility. He didn't mock Portland for passing on him. Early in his rookie year, he even told Sports Illustrated, "Bowie fits in better than I would. They have an overabundance of big guards and small forwards." When asked about his goals, he kept it modest. "I'd like to play in at least one All-Star game." That didn't take long. Just a few months later, Jordan was voted in as a starter for the 1985 All-Star game in Indianapolis. No rookie had ever entered the All-Star stage with that level of attention. His dazzling play was one thing, but the rise of Air Jordan, the shoes, the marketing, the commercials, made him a national obsession before he had even finished his first NBA season. Not everyone in the league loved that. While most players showed up to the All-Star weekend in the standard league-issued gear, Jordan arrived in a Nike sweatpants and his brand new Air Jordan 1s, promoting his own line. To veterans, especially ones still grinding for recognition, this was a rookie skipping the line. According to legend, several All-Star teammates, supposedly led by Chicago native Isaiah Thomas, froze Jordan out of the game. refusing to pass in the ball to put the kid in his place. Surrounded by established stars like Magic Johnson, Julius Erving, George Gervin, Larry Bird, and Moses Malone, Jordan managed just 7 points in 22 minutes. The so-called freeze-out became one of the most infamous All-Star controversies ever, though Thomas has denied orchestrating it. Jordan, for his part, admitted later that his rapid rise, both on the court and in marketing, had caused friction, but he didn't apologize for it. Look, I thought the way I came into the league and what my agent David Falk and all his guys were teaching me was how to be a business person playing the game of basketball. Jordan explained, I didn't think it was certain protocol in terms of how you had to either interact with people or meet them, greet them, praise them. Either way, I didn't know that. Still, the snub fueled him. After the All-Star break, as Falk recalled, Jordan kept replaying the game in his mind. Falk's advice was simple. Don't get mad, just get even. And boy, did Jordan get even. In Chicago's first game after the break, against none other than Isaiah's Detroit Pistons, he erupted for 49 points, 15 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 steals in a 139-126 overtime win. Teammates remember a furious Jordan that night, one they hadn't seen before. He wasn't just competing, he was hunting. They wanted to humble him. Instead, he sent a message: never try to embarrass an assassin. From that point on, Jordan terrorized the league. He finished his rookie season averaging 28.2 points, 6.5 rebounds, and 5.9 assists, third in the NBA in scoring, behind only Bernard King and Larry Bird. He was named Rookie of the Year, made the All-NBA second team, and, most importantly, lifted the Bulls to 11 more wins than the year before, carrying them into the playoffs. Even in defeat, averaging 29.3 points in Chicago's first-round loss to the Milwaukee Bucks, Jordan had already announced himself. The league thought they were dealing with just another talented rookie, someone they could put in his place, teach the unwritten rules, make him wait his turn. They had no idea what they just awakened. Every slight, every snub, every ounce of disrespect, Jordan filed it all away, building a mental database of debts to collect. The freeze-out at the All-Star game, he'd remember that. Being passed over by Portland, he'd make them regret it every time they faced him. The veterans who tried to humble him, they'd just signed up for a 15-year revenge tour. What happened in 1984-85 wasn't just a great rookie season, it was the opening statement of basketball's most ruthless competitor. The kid who cried after not making varsity had transformed into something else entirely. A basketball assassin with a photographic memory for disrespect and an insatiable hunger to destroy anyone who doubted him. The rest of the league just didn't know it yet. They thought the nightmare was over when his rookie year ended. In reality, it had just begun. Where do you think Jordan's rookie season ranks among the greatest debuts in NBA history? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you love old school basketball stories like this one, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss any of our throwback stories.